President Rigathi Gachagua. Events have since progressed rapidly, starting with the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula informing his Senate counterpart Amason Jeffer Kingi. Some 12 hours ago, the Senate held a special sitting to agree on the modalities of the impeachment process, which is scheduled for early next week. Tonight, the embattled Deputy President faces yet another hurdle in his quest to save his position next to the President. We dissect these events starting now. Before that, the highlights. The Senate set to discuss the motion to remove DP Rigathi Gachagua from office on Wednesday and Thursday next week, as Speaker Amason Kingi suspends all travel for senators and Senate staff. The impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua by the National Assembly sets the stage for new political alignments and potential appointments, as Mount Kenya residents express discontent and question whether to retain the Deputy President position after the ouster of one of their own.
On both occasions, I was violently arrested and physically assaulted by the police and denied my right to seek counsel. Activist Bob Njagi emotionally recounts his abduction and torture, exposing alleged police excesses as the KNHCR and other lobby groups call for the rejection of a Kenya application to join the UN Human Rights Council.
This 100 million can be utilized to assist in the evacuation of Kenyans.
The government allocates 100 million for the evacuation of Kenyans stranded in Lebanon. Now, welcome to the program. I am Ian Keitani, and our sign language interpreter is Clement Muli. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live across our social media platforms at K24 TV. We begin the bulletin now, and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's fate now rests with the Senate, which will decide whether to uphold or dismiss the National Assembly's impeachment resolution. A total of 282 MPs voted in support of the motion, while 44 voted against it. Speaker Amason Jeffer Kingi has suspended all travel engagement arrangements for senators and staff, as the Senate will take up the matter for investigation next Wednesday and Thursday, immediately after considering the impeachment of K24 Governor Eric Mutai on Monday and Tuesday. Our political affairs reporter, Joel Chacha, brings us more on the three options available to Gachagua facing the Senate plenary: going to court or resigning.
Following the decision of the National Assembly, where 282 members voted in support of a motion of ousting Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua from office that was tabled by the Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwengi Mutuse, the fate of Gachagua now lies in the Senate.
This is yet another opportunity for the Senate to demonstrate its fidelity to the Constitution and to live up to its reputation. And the Senate shall then investigate the matter in plenary on Wednesday the 16th and Thursday the 17th of October 2024.
Here, 45 members will be required to vote in support of the motion out of 47 who are eligible to vote. In this case, nominated members are not eligible to vote. That translates to 2/3 majority for one to impeach a deputy president.
The proposal for a special committee is defeated. The Senate will therefore proceed with the investigation of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, AGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, in plenary.
Just add an extra day so that the accusers, which is the National Assembly, can have elaborate time to present their case, and also the Deputy President can have the time to present their case.
If you are not able to debate, then we can come the next day, debate and take a vote. We should not then hurry this process.
If 45 members vote in support of the motion, he will be deemed impeached. If they fail to meet the threshold, Rigathi Gachagua will remain as the Deputy President.
I'll submit myself to independent institutions to get justice. And I'm sure, I have no doubt in my mind that I'll get justice. and this impeachment will be thrown out.
Should he fail to secure a court order to halt his removal, the process of appointing a new deputy president will commence. There are growing calls for Gachagua to consider resignation as it may protect his political future.
He has a potential as a leader because we need those kind of courageous leaders. I would suggest not for him. Our advice was for his lawyer. I would tell him, look, you can always fight another day, resign, and then pursue your political career and see what it happens.
It remains to be seen whether Gachagua will choose to face the Senate, pursue a legal challenge or resign, although he has previously dismissed the possibility of stepping down.
I have no intention. I cannot resign. I did not give myself this job. I was given by the people of Kenya. I've done nothing wrong against the people of Kenya whatsoever.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Thank you very much, Joel Chacha. Staying with the same matter is that High Court Judge Lawrence Mugambi will rule on Friday regarding whether the cases challenging Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment should be forwarded to the Chief Justice for the empanelment of a bench. Our lawyers from the Deputy President's team argued that the significant issues raised warrant consideration by a panel of judges, while representatives from the National Assembly disagreed. Alan Owino has the report.
Appearing before High Court Judge Lawrence Mugambi, lawyer Paul Mwite, representing Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, told the court that the cases filed in court raised weighty issues which should be forwarded to the CJ for the appointment of a 3-judge bench to hear and determine them.
My Lord, as far as the petitioner applicant is concerned, this afternoon we confined our submission to assisting this honorable court when giving directions to accede to our request for this matter to be taken to the Chief Justice. So that even when mentioning the issues that arise, we refrained from arguing the merits of the issues, because we would like to do that before a 3-judge or 5-judge or 7, whatever the Chief Justice.
Mwite says impeachment of a deputy president should not be a matter of numbers in the National Assembly. Rather, there must be proof that there was gross violation of the Constitution, further citing that public participation was inadequate given the guidelines issued by the Supreme Court.
We will be saying that the 12 days limitation is in head-on collision with Article 50 of our Constitution. That grants every person the right to a fair trial by any court or tribunal or any other body.
However, lawyers representing the National Assembly led by Paul Nyamodi objected.
My Lord, there is nothing new in public participation that should cause you to certify this matter as one that should be dealt with by an expanded bench of this court. My Lord, there was reference to Article 1 and the fact that sovereignty flows from the people of Kenya, and that is aptly captured in Article 1. My Lord, it is my submission that the promulgation of a constitution is the highest expression of sovereignty in any nation.
On his end, Paul Wanyama argued that the jurisprudence of public participation had already been determined, adding that the matter had already been passed by events with the report on the same already out.
On the second coin to that issue, this petition and the application before you sought to stop a public participation which the National Assembly had conducted or intended to conduct. That public participation has now been completed, and there's a report which has been filed before this court for the court to consider. So what remains as we speak is the application of the law on public participation.
National Assembly lawyers argue that the only unresolved question is that of jurisdiction, which they argue denies the High Court the power to determine the Deputy President's removal by impeachment. They maintain that this can only be determined once the impeachment process has been concluded by the Senate. Judge Lawrence Mugambi is expected to make a ruling on Friday, the 11th of October 2024 at 9 a.m. Alan Owino for K24.
Now, the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has set the stage for new political alignments and political potential appointments, with several leaders from his region being considered as replacements. Brian Moy delves into the political consequences of Gachagua's ouster and how his close allies may bear the brunt of his downfall.
Senators.
As the Senate gears itself to debate the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, the decision by the National Assembly to remove the second-in-command has thrown the political landscape into disarray.
Welcome to the official residence of the Deputy President here in Karen.
The Mount Kenya region's proximity to power now hangs in the balance as the region faces the reality of having its native Deputy President just one vote away from political oblivion.
Former Central Province has, I think, 5 counties, Kirinyaga, Nyandarua, Kiambu, Murang'a, Nyeri. All of them have, I think, 34 constituencies. But if Rigathi Gachagua, who has been selling himself as the kingpin of Mount Kenya, cannot even marshal half of this, and this is without considering the larger Mount Kenyas, you know, like Kipia, Nakuru, Embu, you know, Meru counties, Tarakaniti, all those ones, without considering those ones, if he cannot marshal even half of these numbers, then he has failed at building his political power base. And that has made him open to political attacks.
Okay. With Gachagua's likely exit, the region is left grappling with who might replace him. Several names have emerged as possible successors, including Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, now serving her second term, and Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, who is viewed as the frontrunner. Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah has also been floated as a contender, along with Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro, who had begun making inroads toward the position before going quiet. However, if Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi steps into the role, it could deny the region the opportunity to retain the Deputy President post. Despite the search for a replacement, there is growing discontent among the Mount Kenya residents who are now questioning whether the region should hold on to the Deputy President position after the impeachment of one of their own.
Wote walisema ati Rigathi alikuwa na ukabila juu ya hiyo kiti, washukue hiyo kiti. Na kiongozi wao, huyo mwenye anawapea pesa, ati wakuje wapeleke Gachagua nyumbani, awapee pesa, wamtafutie mwenye si mkabila, ampea hiyo kiti ya Deputy President. Hatuitaki Mount Kenya, ni kiti ya ujinga.
Naomba hiyo kiti kwa sababu walisema Rigathi Gachagua ni tribal, isiletwe tena huku Mount Kenya. Ipelekwe Rift Valley ambao si wa tribal, kwa sababu sisi tumeshukiwa kuwa wa tribal. Hiyo kiti imewekwa either Nyanza ama Rift Valley.
Hiyo kiti haina maana hapa kabisa, inakaa tu stuli ya chapati. So tungekuomba tu kwa heshima, hiyo kiti patia kina Ronyangapuo, DJ Kajwang, si hatutaki kukua kabila.
Should the Senate confirm Gachagua's impeachment, analysts warn that the political fallout could be severe.
And he can only be able to resign before the final verdict of the Senate. Otherwise, if he doesn't, and then he goes to court, and then he doesn't succeed in court, he'll be thrown in the same basket as Babaya Waitito and Sonko, of the former governor.
Wajua ground hapa tuko na tujapotea, wale walikuwa wako na tuko hapa na tubanduki.
Katika ile mambo wanafanya, akumbuke yeye anataka kwenda miaka ingine 10. 2027 atatupata ground. Ile kura yetu tulimpea kwa sababu ya Rigathi. Kama hata ichunga leo, hata 2027 asikuje kwa sababu hata ipata.
Gachagwa's staunch allies stand to lose the most. Vocal MPs such as Gathoni wa Mushomba, James Gakuya and Jerry Maina, who have been unwavering in their support for Gachagua, could become political targets. Many of these key figures chair influential parliamentary committees, which could see a reshuffle. With the seeming inevitability of his fate, Gachagua has vowed to fight to the bitter end, determined to overturn his impeachment.
These accusations lack particularities and specifics. They are just generalized accusations. Again, we'll be challenging that again in court.
His removal, however, could shift the country's political landscape, potentially sparking a revolt within the Mount Kenya region.
Kama hiyo kitu utajaribu kuleta huku hatukitaki.
Brian Amuai, K24, Nairobi.
Well, thank you very much, Brian Amuai, for that detailed report. On that note, we take our first breather. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
You have all heard the word Betika, but do you know what Betika really means? To Betika is to climb to the top of the world. To Betika is to get promoted to the next level and to win again and again and again. To Betika is to test the limits of speed and to swing hard at every opportunity. To Betika is to do the impossible. It is possible with Betika.
Welcome to Betika, the home of champions.
Enjoy StarTimes Sports all month long. Buy a StarTimes decoder at our business halls or dealership countrywide to experience passion from the heart of Saudi Arabia's most electrifying football league.
This is absolutely wonderful.
Renew your subscription today. The thrill of every La Liga goal, the intensity of every Bundesliga match.
Coming down.
Feel the passion, the power, and the pride of world-class football as the best teams battle it out for the sound of victory. Renew your subscription today. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Kurumisha ndege. Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Welcome back. It has emerged that a significant percentage of Kenyans who participated in the public engagement on the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua supported the motion. However, a section of lawmakers are under scrutiny for going against the wishes of their constituents. With Gachagua's fate now resting with the Senate following his impeachment by the National Assembly, the statistics from the public participation, which was marred by chaos, have been released. In the public engagement conducted across the country and the diaspora, a total of 221,331 responses were submitted, with 144,111, signifying 65.11% supporting the ouster bid, 74,768, signifying 33.78% opposing the motion, and 2,452, signifying 1.11% providing other responses. Constituencies with the highest approval of the Mwengi Mutuse-led impeachment motion include Mbala constituency, where all 428 respondents supported the motion. Mandera's 124 respondents also supported the motion. The same was witnessed in Magarini constituency, where all 263 respondents supported the motion, and Fafi constituency's 301 respondents who all supported the motion. In Tiati constituency, 99.82% of the 546 respondents supported the motion. In Dadaab constituency, 99.79% of the 474 respondents supported the motion, while in Ijara constituency, 99.6% of the 498 constituents supported the motion. In Mandera East, 99.5% of the 399 who submitted their responses supported the motion, with 99.43% of the 706 respondents in Sirisia supporting the motion. In Likoni constituency, 99.31% of the 868 respondents supported the motion. However, the situation was markedly different in the majority of constituencies in the vast Mount Kenya region, which is perceived to be the Deputy President's political stronghold. Constituencies with high disapproval rates for the motion include Mukurweini constituency, where 97.42% of the 2,941 respondents opposed the motion. In Madhira constituency, 96.97% of the 6,298 respondents opposed the motion. In Nyeri town, 96.93% of the 2,378 respondents opposed the motion, with 95.4% of the 4,824 respondents in Kigumo opposing the motion. In Kangema constituency, 95.36% of the 3,187 respondents opposed the motion, with 94.94% of the 2,529 respondents in Naivasha constituency opposing the motion. Kitui Rural also saw 93.93% of the 437 respondents oppose the motion, with 91.77% of the 1,784 respondents in Kieni constituency oppose the motion. In Kandara constituency, 91.38% of the 1,265 respondents disapproved the motion, with 90.61% of the 618 respondents in Kitui West disapproving the motion. With some legislators accused of disregarding the will of their electorate, the outcome of yesterday's poll reinforced these claims. Despite their constituents opposing the motion, Deputy Presidents Lomeka Eric Wamombe and Nyeri Town's Duncan Madenge voted in favor of it, ignoring the opinions of 96% of those who participated in the public engagement. Kenyans have criticized the government for not conducting public participation on crucial matters, but many turned out in large numbers to emphasize its importance. Some of the constituencies that recorded high turnout include Madhira constituency, where 6,298 turned out. In Kiguma constituency, 4,824 turned out to give their views. In Maragua constituency, 3,255 came out to give their views. In Mukurweini constituency, 2,941 came out to give their views, with Subukia's 2,925 also turning out. Gashagua's fate now lies with the Senate, often referred to as the House of Trial. Special sittings are scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday next week, where senators will vote on whether to uphold the National Assembly's decision or not. Let's now talk matters human rights, and Kenya has been dealt a blow after the Kenya Human Rights Commission and other lobby groups called for the rejection of an application by Kenya to join the UN Human Rights Council. In a press briefing on Wednesday, the KHRC detailed human rights violations such as extrajudicial killings, abductions and enforced disappearances by police as some of the reasons which rendered Kenya unqualified to join the prestigious council. Elsewhere, police in Kajiado County thwarted a press conference which was held by the Kitengela 3 to give their harrowing ordeal in the hands of the abductors. Busara Naman now reports.
A press conference convened by human rights activists to give a platform to the Kitengela 3 to give their harrowing ordeal in the hands of abductors was stopped by the police, forcing them to address the media while in the bushes.
Government of the day made all efforts to make sure that it does not speak to the media. And that is why we are hiding in the bush to address the media. If indeed this government knew that what they did for Comrade Bob Njagi and all other, because Comrade Bob Njagi is only a representation and a victim of extrajudicial, not just killing, but extrajudicial arrests, abductions, and police kidnap. If he symbols that, and you don't fear him telling the story because you are acting according to the law, like the president always say that he's exercising his constitutional right, why is it that today in the morning when this press conference was meant to happen at 11 o'clock, there was a fiasco with the Kenya police?
Bob Njagi, an activist and a leader of the Free Kenya movement, has given an emotional account of his harrowing 32-day abduction, breaking down in tears as he recounted the torture he endured. Njagi, one of the 3 activists abducted in Kitengela, came face to face with what he described as police excesses in Kenya and revealed the disturbing details.
En route to Kitengela, the bus stopped at Mlolongo for some passengers to alight. It was then that 4 masked men, hooded men, got into the vehicle shouting, "Huyu ako na bunduki," while pointing at me. I was immediately alarmed by this assertion, and upon realizing what was happening, I shouted my name, Bob Njagi, and informed all the passengers that I was being targeted because of the demos. The officers shoved me out of the bus forcefully while assaulting me with kicks, blows, slaps, jacking me off my feet, and carrying me shoulder high into an awaiting white car. The officers had cautioned other passengers not to take any photos.
The activist narrated that he spent 32 days in dark 6-by-4-feet room, isolated from the outside world. He further claimed being denied food for 2 days. He started being fed only twice a week thereafter. The activist further announced that he's planning to sue the state for violating his rights.
I was illegally arrested twice on 2 separate occasions. On both occasions, I was violently arrested and physically assaulted by the police and denied my right to seek counsel or communicate with my family members.
While the families of Njagi and the Longton brothers are relieved to have their loved ones back, concerns remain over the safety of activists in Kenya.
We have lost many Gen Zs in the demonstrations. We have lost even children who did not know what was going on.
Mjue wa Kenya, sisi ni kabila mbili. Wenye wanatuibia na sisi wenye wanaibiwa. Tuungane pamoja sote. Usipigane na mtu yoyote ambaye anapigana against wenye wanatuibia. Tuungane pamoja, tutoe wale ambao wanatuibia na Kenya itaendelea mbele.
This comes as lobby groups led by the Kenya Human Rights Commission believe the UN body should not consider Kenya's formal bid, saying that granting Kenya a seat on the UNHRC would undermine the Council's credibility and its mandate to hold human rights violators accountable.
The regime continues to use state security and other agencies to commit atrocities that, by definition of the Rome Statute, amount to crime against humanity. Considering this, we urge the UN and the international community to reject Kenya's request for a seat on the UN Human Rights Council.
This is due to the continued cases of extrajudicial killings, abductions, and enforced disappearances by the police against the young people who were participating in protests.
The fact that there has not been accountability, despite repeated calls from civil society for accountability, the regime has ignored these demands and even praised the unconstitutional and arbitrary actions of the police.
Kenya has been eyeing a seat at the UN Human Rights Council, particularly because some member countries, including Benin, Cameroon, Eritrea, Gambia, and Somalia, will see their terms come to an end in December 2024. Other African countries in the Human Rights Council include Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Eritrea, Gambia, Ghana, Malawi, Algeria, Benin, Burundi, Morocco, Somalia, South Africa, and Sudan. Busara Naman, K24 TV.
Ikiwa umejisikia kuwa na mama, si utafute mama.
This Sunday, we confront one of